Now, as I'm sure you're all aware by now, Pantoja is the new flyweight champion of the world. He defeated Brandon Moreno by split decision at UFC 290. Now, we're just going to go over this fight and how it played out, and we'll be getting to the terrible judging within that contest a bit later in the video, which I found one of these scorecards absolutely ridiculous, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And obviously what Brandon Moreno has come out and said about his loss at UFC 290. Within the first round, this was absolutely dominated by Pantoja. He ended up rocking him twice within that round. He hurt him quite badly on the feet, got a takedown, and had the majority of the ground control. He hurt him a couple of times within that round. It really wasn't looking good for Moreno. When the first round ended, Moreno was busted up. He definitely didn't look to be in tip-top shape, but as we know, Brandon Moreno is a fantastic champion. He ended up coming out in the second and, in my opinion, decisively winning that round. So going within the third, it was locked at 1-on-1. Brandon Moreno was clearly landing the heavier shots in the second round, and he definitely worked his way back into the contest very quickly. Now, this fight from beginning to end was incredible. Okay, it was absolutely incredible, but in my opinion, the third, the fourth, and the fifth rounds all went to Pantoja. He was dominating the grappling, he got multiple takedowns, and he was doing more damage out of both of the fighters. As we were going within the fifth round, I thought, at best, it's 2-2. I scored it 3-1 personally up until that point, but I could see a case for why Brandon Moreno would have won a round there. All the rounds bar 1 and 2 were incredibly close in my opinion, so I can see how some people might have seen things a little bit differently, but that was me being extremely generous. You know, there was no doubt in my mind that Brandon Moreno was down 3-1 going into this last round. So in my eyes, he had to win this fifth round to have any chance of winning the contest at all. Now, as we go to within the fifth round, they were trading strikes back and forth, but Pantoja ended up getting his back and grappling him for the last 2 or 3 minutes of the round, cementing himself the victory to become the new flyweight champion. So I thought, there's no way in hell that Brandon Moreno has done enough to win the contest. It was a fantastic fight that they put on. And then we get to the very end, and they're just standing there as, you know, Bruce Buffer's doing his announcements, and he goes, the first judge scores this contest 49-46 Moreno. 49-46 Moreno. How do you get a scorecard of 49-46? Like, can somebody please explain that to me? I mean, these judges, don't forget, they get paid for this. They actually get paid to put a ridiculous scorecard like 49-46. You know, it doesn't even make any logical sense. That shocked me the most. And as we know within the UFC, you can't be leaving it in the hands of the judges. They just suck so badly. And I sort of held my breath once I heard that first scorecard because I thought, are the UFC judges going to do this again? Going to be screwing Pantoja out of a victory in a world title fight? But thankfully, the next two scorecards did make a little bit more sense, and the rightful man ended up winning in the end. But I don't know what to say about the judging anymore, guys, or how to fix it, because there's no way anyone that knows anything about the sport can look at that fight and give 49-46 in favor of Moreno. There's just absolutely no way in hell. It's just incredibly frustrating to witness, to be quite honest with you. And Brandon Moreno came out after the fight and said that he will be back. There's no doubt in my mind that he'll want to reclaim that flyweight championship. He had a fantastic rivalry with Figueiredo, multiple title fights, and I think he's in a position where he does deserve an immediate rematch, especially considering how close that fight was. I mean, yes, it was 4-1 in my opinion, but it was close enough each round, and he didn't get absolutely smashed everywhere. He put up a fantastic performance, good enough performance to warrant an immediate title shot. But I mean, that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? I mean, history has shown us that it's not very likely if a fighter's got a couple of wins over you already, they're going to come in and get the victory the third time. I mean, a few fighters have done it, but it's really not very often. But I thought Moreno was going to win this contest. I thought he'd really evolved as a fighter over the years. It looks like Pantoja has evolved a little bit more, and he might be Moreno's kryptonite. But overall, I think UFC 290 was one of the best cards that I've seen. Definitely one of the best cards of 2023 thus far. There's been a few, but it's hard to remember one in recent memory as good as this has been. Now, if you guys do want to up your athleticism and prevent some injuries in your training, feel free to check out my free ebook, Combat Training Essentials. The link is in the description. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on Alexandre Volkanovski's victory against Yair Rodriguez, feel free to check that out up here. I'll also have the link for that video in the description below. But thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I'll catch you all later.